If Jesus really walked out of the grave, then this is not just a story people remember once a year. This is a message that demands an answer from your life today. Because the resurrection was not just a miracle that happened long ago. It was proof. Proof that everything Jesus said is true. Proof that death was not the end. Proof that sin was not stronger than God. And proof that your life is not random or forgotten. Many people celebrate Easter. They remember the cross. They remember the tomb. They remember the story. But they never stop to ask what the resurrection actually means for them personally. Because if Jesus really rose from the dead, then he is not just someone you admire. He is someone you must respond to. The Bible says in Matthew 28:6, "He is not here, he has risen." Those words changed history forever. The grave could not hold him. Darkness could not silence him. Death could not defeat him. And if death could not defeat Jesus, then the fear controlling your life right now does not have the final word either. But here is the truth many people try to avoid. If Jesus rose from the dead, then he is alive today. And if he is alive today, then he sees you. He knows you. He understands your struggles, your doubts, your fears, and even the things you try to hide from everyone else. The resurrection means you are not invisible to God. Acts 17:31 says that God gave proof to the world by raising Jesus from the dead. Not a symbol, not a tradition, not a motivational idea. Proof. And proof always requires a decision. Some people want the comfort of the resurrection without the commitment that comes with it. They want hope without surrender. They want forgiveness without transformation. But the empty tomb was never meant to make people comfortable. It was meant to wake people up. Because if Jesus walked out of the grave, then sin was defeated, shame was defeated, fear was defeated, and the past you think defines your future no longer has authority over your life. Jesus said in John 11:25, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me will live, even though they die." That means death is not the end of your story. It means failure is not the end of your story. It means your mistakes are not the end of your story. The resurrection declares that God is still able to restore what you thought was already finished. But the real question is not whether the tomb was empty. The real question is what you are going to do about it. Because if Jesus defeated death, then ignoring him is not neutral. Waiting is not neutral. Doing nothing is not neutral. The resurrection is not just information, it is an invitation. Romans 10:9 says that if you believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. That means the resurrection is not just something to understand. It is something to believe, something to accept, something to respond to. Right now, many people are living as if Jesus is still in the grave. They live controlled by fear, controlled by guilt, controlled by confusion, controlled by the past. But the stone was already rolled away. The grave is already empty, and the same power that raised Jesus from the dead is still able to change a life today. If he walked out of the grave, then he is still calling you to leave what is holding you back, calling you to trust him, calling you to follow him, calling you to step into the life you were created to live. The resurrection is not just something that happened then. It is something that speaks to you now, because the tomb is empty, and that changes everything. And if Jesus stood in front of you right now, he would not be silent about your life. He would not ignore your pain. He would not overlook the questions you carry inside. He would look directly at you and say, "I did not leave the grave so you could keep living in fear. I did not defeat death so you could stay trapped in the same chains. I did not rise again so you could continue believing that your story is already finished." He would remind you that the cross was not the end of his love for you. The resurrection was the confirmation of it. He would say, "I see what you are carrying. I see the nights you stayed awake worrying. I see the battles nobody else knows about. I see the weight you have been trying to handle alone." And then he would tell you something many people are afraid to believe. "You are not too far from me. You are not too broken for me. You are not too late for me." Because the resurrection was not only about proving who he is, it was about proving that nothing in your life is beyond his power to restore. Maybe you thought God forgot about you. Maybe you thought your mistakes disqualified you. Maybe you thought too much time has passed. But the empty tomb says something different. It says your past does not have the final word. It says your fear does not have the final word. It says your failure does not have the final word. Jesus said in Revelation 1:18, "I am the living one. I was dead, and now look, I am alive forever and ever." That means he is not distant from you today. He is alive right now. And because he is alive, he is still calling people who feel lost, still restoring people who feel weak, still forgiving people who feel ashamed, still reaching people who think they waited too long. If he stood in front of you in this moment, he would not ask you to be perfect. He would ask you to trust him. He would not ask you to fix everything first. He would ask you to follow him now, because the resurrection was never meant to stay in the past. It was meant to change your life today. So, the question is not whether Jesus rose from the grave. The question is whether you are ready to respond to him now.